been a few days since I made an upload. I just haven't had a lot of time to as of lately. But while I have the time right now, I figure I might as well get a little wrestling rant off of my shoulders. Fatal Influence is one of the worst stables in the company right now. Fatal Influence sucks. It is a terrible stable. Absolutely awful. I would go on to say that this is probably a worse stable than Toxic Attraction was. All this stable is, it's a carbon copy of Toxic Attraction, but somehow even worse. Way worse. Because the leader of the stable, Fallon Henley, I never cared for her. And no, I don't think anyone ever asked for her to hold a championship like she's holding right now. She's holding the NXT Women's North American Championship. No one asked for that. Fallon Henley, I sometimes forget that she's even on the roster. And yet here she is as a champion out of freaking nowhere. I never cared for her in the past when she was, in that stable with Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs either. I never cared for her. There was nothing about her that ever interested me. I never thought she was that good of a wrestler. She's nothing about her is special to me. And also, I've talked about JC Jane a little bit in one of my past rants. It was the video called A Problem I Have with Women's Wrestling. I forgot the exact title because I haven't watched the video in a long time. But go back and check it out. I think JC Jane is terrible. A lot of people think that she's really good in the ring. I disagree with that. There is nothing about her that makes me think that she's good. And that other girl, Jasmine Nix, I think that's her name. She's just there. She's just there. I don't see her contributing anything to that stable at all. I haven't heard her talk much. I haven't seen her wrestle much. She's just existing within the stable. That's it. Listen, I think overall Triple H is doing an amazing job as head of creative, okay? A lot of people think he's running the company. He isn't running the company. He's just the chief content officer. He's the head of creative. That's it. But there are some things that he just doesn't do right to me. And this garbage stable is one of them. And onto their gimmick. Onto their gimmick now. Their gimmick, like I said, it's a carbon copy of Toxic Attraction, but somehow even more forgettable. And this is what I've talked about in one of my past rants. I think that most women's wrestlers, not all of them, but most women's wrestlers have the exact same type of gimmick, whether they're a face or a heel. When they're a face, they're almost always that nice girl next door, like Kalani Jordan is. Which, Kalani Jordan is a good wrestler, but she needs to change that gimmick. And also, this is another reason why I really dislike Fatal Influence. Because they're a heel stable, okay, obviously. But their gimmick is the exact same as 99% of all heels in the women's division. They always have that spoiled teenager gimmick, which I think is extremely, extremely overused. Like, it is one of the most overused tropes in wrestling history. It's extremely overused. Now, granted, there are some heels in the women's division that I think are actually unique, like Shayna Baszler, or Zoe Stark, or even Wendy Chu. Like, when Wendy Chu debuted in the first place, she had that sleepy girl gimmick. I didn't like her at all. I thought that was a really cringy gimmick. But I think her new heel gimmick, where she has that dark personality and that scary makeup, I really like that. I think that's really cool. But why is it that most heels in the women's division have the exact same gimmick? There's nothing different. I guess it's cheap heat. I don't know. It's easy way to get boos from the crowd. That's my only answer. Uh, but yeah, Fatal Influence, they are a terrible stable in my personal opinion. I think they're a terrible stable. They're not any different from most heels in the women's division. They're a carbon copy of Toxic Attraction, which that stable was already bad enough to begin with. And this one is even worse than that. Break the stable up. And either improve Fallon Henley somehow or get her out of here. Because literally, always throughout my time watching NXT, I have never noticed anything special about her. The fact that she is a champion right now it doesn't even make sense. There is nothing special about her. I sometimes forget she even exists, like I said. Jacy Jayne's a terrible wrestler, and Jasmine Nix is just existing within that stable. She isn't contributing much. She's just there. That's what I think.